Most pharaohs wanted you to think they were gods. This one wanted you to think he was funny. He was a thief, a drunk. He once declared war on a king by farting at his messenger, and somehow he became one of the most successful rulers in Egyptian history. This is the story of Amasis, the weirdest pharaoh you've never heard of. Before he was a pharaoh, Amasis was just a guy, a soldier from a nothing town, and by most accounts, kind of a mess. He drank constantly, and he had a very specific hobby, stealing from his own friends. He'd sneak into their homes, take their stuff, hide it in his house, and then, when they came looking for it, he'd act completely confused, like he'd never even heard of the item, like they were the crazy ones. And then, the victims did what people did back then. They dragged him to the gods. Local oracles were asked one question: did Amasis steal it? Sometimes the oracle said yes, sometimes it said no. Years later, Amasis became king, and he remembered every shrine. He rewarded the ones that caught him. He ignored the ones that cleared him, because if a god couldn't catch a drunk thief, that god wasn't worth funding. That was Amasis, ridiculous on the surface, sharper underneath. Egypt didn't expect that. His king didn't expect it either. Before Amasis, Egypt belonged to a priest. The Greeks called him a priest. The Bible remembers him as Hophra. He ruled from Sais in the Nile Delta, and he trusted foreign soldiers too much. Carians, Ionians, 30,000 men around the throne. To Egyptian soldiers, that looked like betrayal. Then, a priest sent an Egyptian army west. Their target was Cyrene, a Greek city in Libya. The campaign failed badly. The survivors came home furious. They thought a priest had sent them to die, not by accident, on purpose, so they revolted. A priest needed someone to calm them down. He picked Amasis. Bad choice. Amasis went to the rebels. He started speaking, and while he spoke, someone put a helmet on his head. In Egypt, that wasn't just a helmet. That was a crown with plausible deniability. And the fart is only the beginning. The deeper you go, the stranger Amasis gets, until you reach the trick that may have helped Persia swallow Egypt. For now, Amasis had a choice: deny the crown or enjoy the accident. He enjoyed it. A priest sent a courtier named Paterbemis. His order was simple: bring Amasis back alive. Paterbemis found him on horseback. He delivered the king's command. Amasis raised himself in the saddle. Then he gave his answer: take that back to a priest. This should have been suicide. You don't insult a pharaoh and live. But a priest made the mistake worse. Paterbemis came back without Amasis. A priest didn't listen. He mutilated him. Ears, nose, gone. And suddenly the joke wasn't funny anymore. It was evidence. A priest looked cruel. Amasis looked fearless. People changed sides. The country split in two. A priest marched with foreign guards. Amasis marched with Egyptians. They met at Memphis. The foreigners fought well. They were outnumbered. A priest lost. Amasis captured him. At first, he treated him well. That didn't satisfy Egypt. They wanted the old king dead. Amasis handed him over. A priest was strangled, then buried at Sais. Now Amasis had the throne, but he didn't have the story. That mattered. Pharaohs weren't supposed to come from Saiph. They were supposed to come from gods. The elites despised him, so Amasis gave them a lesson. Not a speech, a prank. He owned a golden footbath. Guests washed their feet in it. Some stories make it even less dignified. Then he melted it down. He made it into a god. He placed it in public, and people worshipped it. Then Amasis revealed the trick. That holy object was your footbath. You adored it anyway, so maybe stop being snobs. He didn't hide the dirt. He turned it into authority. And that is the part you should notice. A weaker man pretends. Amasis pointed at the mask, then laughed first. That made him hard to attack, because he had already insulted himself better than you could. Then he ran Egypt like a man with office hours. Morning was business. He heard cases, signed orders, handled the state. Then the marketplace filled, and Amasis clocked out. After lunch, he drank, joked, hung out with friends. His friends told him this looked unroyal. A pharaoh should sit high all day. Amasis answered with a bow. Keep it strung forever, and it snaps. People work the same way. Your boss probably needs this carved on a wall. But Amasis wasn't just protecting his afternoons. He was building a machine. He ruled 44 years. That isn't a punchline. That's survival. Egypt grew rich under him. The old stories claim 20,000 inhabited cities. Maybe that number is bragging. The prosperity was real enough. He built at Sais, Memphis, Saqqara, Abydos, Elephantine, Karnak. The party guy moved stone shrines across Egypt. One shrine came from Elephantine to Sais. It took 3 years. 2,000 transport experts were involved. At Memphis, he dedicated a giant reclining statue, 75 feet long. So yes, he joked. Then he moved mountains with paperwork. And his strangest policy started with foreigners. Remember, he rose during anger at foreign troops, so you'd expect him to shut the door. He did the opposite. He turned Greek trade into state policy. The key was Naucratis, a port full of Greeks, Egyptians, Cypriots, and traders. Amasis didn't keep them out. He concentrated them. Trade here, worship here, pay here. That is not clown behavior. That is customs policy with sandals. He made alliances too. Cyrene, Lydia, Sparta, Samos. He sent gifts to Greek sanctuaries. He helped Delphi after its temple burned. He even sent a linen breastplate to Lindos. Each thread supposedly held 360 strands. This man moved from fart diplomacy to luxury textile diplomacy. Same sandals. He married a Greek woman from Cyrene. Her name was Ladice. Their marriage story turns into bedroom comedy. Amasis couldn't perform with her. He accused her of witchcraft. She prayed to Aphrodite, promised a statue, and the problem disappeared. Even his love life needed foreign policy. Then comes the law that should make you laugh once and then get nervous. Every Egyptian had to report their livelihood each year. How do you make money? Prove it is honest. Fail, and the penalty was death. The former thief invented an annual income check. That's like the guy who stole your bike inventing the IRS. Then he took Cyprus, made it pay tribute to Egypt. That is the real Amasis problem. Every joke has a crown hidden inside it. But outside Egypt, something larger was moving. Babylon had already threatened Egypt early in his reign. Then Persia rose. Cambyses wanted Egypt. And one story says he first asked Amasis for a daughter. Amasis didn't want to send his own child, so he dressed up Netetis. She was the daughter of dead Apries, the king Amasis had overthrown. Then he sent her to Persia. Cambyses called her Amasis's daughter. She told him the truth. Amasis had tricked him. That is the kind of prank you don't pull on Persia. Then another clever man entered the story, Phanes of Halicarnassus. He knew Egypt's secrets. He defected to Persia. Amasis sent a ship to catch him. Phanes got the guards drunk, then escaped. In Persia, he explained the desert route, how to cross it, who to ask for help, where Egypt was weakest. And then Amasis died. Perfect timing for him, terrible timing for everyone else. His son Psamtik inherited the throne. He lasted 6 months. Persia defeated Egypt near the Pelusian Nile mouth, then pursued the survivors to Memphis. Psamtik surrendered. His daughter was paraded as a slave. His son was led to execution. The joke had left the room. Then Cambyses went after Amasis himself. Not the living man, the corpse. The revenge story says he had it dragged out, whipped, stabbed, burned. But Egypt had one last counter-story. Maybe Amasis knew this would happen. Maybe he hid his real body. Maybe Cambyses desecrated the wrong corpse. Even dead, Amasis might have gotten the last laugh. And that's why he is so hard to categorize. Clown is too simple. Genius is too clean. He was a commoner who made elites bow, a thief who demanded honest income, a drunk who kept the state working, a joker who built temples, a rebel who ruled longer than many gods on thrones. Most pharaohs tried to become gods. Amasis did something stranger. He became unforgettable by staying embarrassingly, dangerously human.